Good evening, everyone. We'll start the session now. I hope I'm audible, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So today, what we'll do is we'll quickly recap, what we discussed last time. Just 1 minute. Okay. So we'll quickly recap, the whole session, whatever we did for the last 3 weeks. So, yeah, so first we'll go through, what is acupressure, the importance of acupressure. So we discussed this multiple times, but the critical thing here is that there are diseases are of two types. One is acute problems, and another is chronic problems, right? So acute problems are problems which suddenly erupt and it creates some emergency situation, whereas chronic problems are there for a quite long time and they become a what do you call they develop over a period of time. The important part here is that these acute problems, while allopathy is good in treating acute problems, but allopathy cannot treat chronic problems, right? So this is the most important thing we discuss. So that's where uh, the medicine systems like Siddha, Ayurveda, or acupuncture or acupressure comes into picture. So especially one thing that we discussed here is that uh, if if there are problems related to endocrine glands, right? There are many glands are there. So if there are problems related to endocrine gland, in allopathy there is no treatment possible. It is only that either they will remove the gland or they will whatever that gland is secreting they will manually inject. So one example is thyroid, especially hypothyroid. For hyperthyroid, the treatment in allopathy is to like goiter, right? So the treatment is to remove the gland, whereas in hypothyroid, where the thyroid levels are very, I mean, the thyroid hormones are not secreting. So there, the treatment is to take supplementary, like iodine supplementary, right? So that's where the acupressure comes into picture. Apart from that, acupuncture is good in acupressure is good in pain management, and also it helps you to be energetic, right? Then yeah, so this is all we discussed: acute problems versus chronic problem, and there are some limitation we discussed. So the first limitation is acupressure is actually in the least. Acupressure is actually a part of Chinese medicine, right? Traditional Chinese medicine. TCM stands for traditional Chinese medicine. So it is in the least in the order of effectiveness, which means that there are other systems in TCM which are more effective. The biggest one is, or the most effective is the acupuncture, right? And another thing that we discussed is acupressure is not alternate. It's not complementary. Sorry, it is complementary, not alternative or supplementary. Which means that if you are undergoing any treatment, you cannot stop the treatment and then start taking acupressure, right? So these are all some. But the benefits on the other side, it is easy to learn. It's very safe to use. There is no medicine systems or anything, right? You don't take any drugs. It is very safe to use. It can be used anywhere, anytime. That's the most important thing. So that's what we discussed. Then yeah, philosophy of diseases, right? How the disease create, and how the disease develop, and what treatment, right? So allopathy, basically, what we discussed is, it treats diseases into two types. One is diseases, another is disorders, right? Whereas Siddha Ayurveda, no, they are based on the three doshas, right? So basically, the idea here is that in Siddha and Ayurveda, what the concept is that if there is an imbalance in three dosha, then the disease originates, right? That is the concept of Siddha and Ayurveda. Whereas acupuncture, it is based on five elements or panchaputas, right? So there are five elements are there. So these five elements are creating, if are basically our entire body is composed of these five elements. So whenever there is a what do you call imbalance in any of the five elements, that creates a disease. So this is the basis on which this medicine system works, like allopathy, Siddha, Ayurveda, or acupuncture. So that's what we saw in the this thing. So how does the things like acupressure or acupuncture or energy healing works is, it works by increasing your vital energy, which is called chi, ki, or prana, right? So basically, what happens? Our body has various energy points, which are called acupoints or acupressure or acupuncture points, and these points are located in a path called meridians, right? So meridians are nothing but it's like a channel. So you can imagine like how the blood is flowing in our body, or how the nerves passing signals, right? Similarly, energy flows through this meridian, and these meridian have chakras. So chakras are the transformer kind of thing, right, where it absorbs a huge energy, but that doesn't mean chakra is the only place where energy is absorbed. Even energy points also absorb energy, right? So basically what happens when you have a problem, the problem is caused because of imbalance, right? So this imbalance is cured by stimulating that point, using energy point. So that is how the medicinal systems like acupressure or acupuncture or even healing works, right? Healing works, healing deals with chakras, whereas acupressure or acupuncture points deals with energy points. That's all we saw, right? And then we discussed about human organs, right? So basically the human organs that we study in our traditional things like Siddha Ayurveda or acupressure, they are not exactly same. Especially when we are talking about acupressure or acupuncture or TCM, we are talking about 12 organs. So there are 12 organs that are primarily involved, whereas in the other medicinal system, right, especially allopathy, we are studying about anatomy, which is completely different, right? So basically, as per anatomy, or as per the human organ allopathy, as per the human organ systems, there are 10 organ systems are there. These are not individual organs, these are all organ systems. Whereas in the TCM, that is the Chinese traditional medicine, there are 12 organs are there, right? So what are these 12 organs? So one is lung, another is large intestine, stomach, spleen, heart, small intestine, urinary bladder, kidney, pericardium, triple wormer, sangio, gallbladder, liver channel. So these are all the 12 organs are there as per the traditional Chinese medicine, and each and every organ has a what you call a symbol, right? So lung is denoted by LU, large intestine denoted by LI, like that. So the key thing here is that what we discussed is we have to remember all these 12 organs in the same order. I'm just muting all of you. Yeah, so there are 12 organs are there, and each organ has. Sorry, Radhika, you want to ask any question? Hello. Okay. So there are 12 organs are there, and each of these organs have different symbols, right? Each and every organ has a different symbol. So the most important thing that we discussed here is, Radhika, can you go on mute? Yeah, thank you. So each of these organs have a different symbol, right? So these symbols, are very important to remember, and the most important thing is we have to remember the organs in the same order. So this order is very important. So why to remember in the order that we discussed, especially when we are talking about organ clock. Organ clock is like how the organs get the maximum energy in a span of 24 hours. 2 hours they get a maximum energy. So that order is as per this order. That is one. Second is all the meridians are also related to this order actually. So if you don't remember in this order, then it is going to be very difficult going for it. At least from today we will start seeing about meridian. So it will be very difficult. Another important thing what we discussed is pericardium is not an organ as per the English medicine, right? So pericardium is actually a just a sheath over the heart actually. So, but in Chinese medicine, it is actually considered as a what do you call it? Is considered as an organ. Another organ is sangio. San means three in Chinese and Japanese. Jia means junction. So this is the place where three organs meet. So which is called upper cavity, middle cavity, lower cavity. So this is again not an organ. It is as three portions of our body, right? And this is actually generating the heat. So that's what we saw. Then the most important thing what we saw is that there are 12 organs in as per the TCM. Each organ has one meridian. So totally there are 12 meridians for 12 organs. And this is on one side, right? That is either left or right. So on both the sides there are 24 meridians are there. Correct? So now where are the acupuncture points located or acupressure points located? They are generally located in the crease. Crease is where if you fold your hand or any place, there will be a line that will be created. You can see a small line. So that line is actually called a crease. So one example is LA11, which is on the end of the crease. Now again, this doesn't mean all the acupressure points are there in the crease. So some are in the crease, some are not in the crease, and some crease may not have any acupuncture points also, right? So this is just a location, right? This is to identify the point. Okay, the other example is like these points are also there in the joints. Every joint has a point, and this we discussed in the beginning that joints, there are so many acupuncture points are there, acupressure points are there, but the points in the joints are very powerful. So they keep you very active. Similarly, between the bones, wherever there are bones, they are joining together. These bones have actually, what you call, acupressure points. And there are many depressions in our body. When you just press, you'll see some depression. So there also the acupressure points are there. So these are all some ideas you can just remember, so that we can easily identify the acupressure points, right? So two important points we discussed: LI4 and LI11. So this LI4 and LI11, we will see that in today's class actually again. But these LI4 and LI11 are very important because they help you to tonify your body. They work as a sedation. That is, if you have headache or anything, it helps you to relieve your pain. So LI4 is when you keep both your index finger and thumb together, you will see end of the thumb, you will see a mountain kind of a small hill kind of thing. That's where LI4 is there, and LI11 is the crease, right? That's what we discussed. Now, yes, last class what we discussed is we discussed about Zhang and Fu organs. So basically, like we discussed about Ardhanarishwara, right? Which means that in our body there are both male and female properties are there, and there are male and female channels are there. So channels are classified into male and female. In Chinese, it is called Yin and Yang. So Yin channel stands for female channel, Yang stands for male channel. So similarly, organs also classified into male and female. So male organs are called Fu organs, and the female organs are called Zhang organs, right? So that's what we discussed. Then, one second. Then we discussed about Yin and Yang, right? Yin stands for negative. This is not positive or negative. This is basically polarity, right? So Yin stands for negative, passive, which means doesn't move something left. And then in our Hindu tradition, it is called Sakti or Yoni. Yang stands for positive, active, right, and in Hindu tradition, it is called Shiva or Linga. Now, Zhang organs. How do you identify Zhang organs? Zhang organs are basically in, right. They are in. They are solid in nature. For example, like a spleen is solid, right, whereas stomach is hollow. So Zhang organs are solid, whereas Fu organs are hollow. Since Fu organs are hollow, they are involved in transporting various things. Like for example, large intestine transports stools, stomach transports food, right? So they are involved in transporting. So Fu organs transport, whereas Zhang organs they store. They store the vital substances. For example, liver stores fat and other things, right? So so this is how the organs are classified in this thing. So if you see here, there are 12 organs we discussed, right? Lung, large intestine, spleen, stomach, kidney, urinary bladder, liver, gallbladder, heart, small intestine. So you can see here a small table where you have classified these organs into two types. See, if you remember, I told some time back that you have to remember in the order. See, the order is exactly same, right? It is same order. And the another important thing we discussed is that each of these organs are related to one Panchapuda. So in English, in TCM, it is called earth, metal, water, wood, fire. So these are all the five ones. Whereas in Hindu tradition, it is called earth, ether, water, air, and fire. So air stands for Akasha, fire stands for this thing, right? So these are all the five elements. So each of the organs have five elements. So the way acupressure or acupuncture works is that whenever there is any imbalance in these five, this thing, what you do is you do acupressure or acupuncture so that whichever imbalance is there, that imbalance is removed, so that automatically the body starts healing itself, right? That is how the basis of what you call acupressure or acupuncture, right? That's what we saw. Now let's come to the very most important thing today. Okay, I'll just pause here. If anybody has any question, you can just let me know. Okay, so no questions. Okay, so let's start seeing meridian today. This is very important. Okay, so totally there are 12 meridians are there. We discussed, right? Totally there are 12 meridians are there, and out of 12 meridians, 6 meridians are yin, and 6 are yang. So like we discussed, right? Yin and yang. We'll see that more in today's session. What is yin and yang? So there are 6 are yin, 6 are yang, and the 6 are connected to limb, 6 are connected to hand, right? So what it means is that, like I told you in the very first session, right? Our foot and our hand, palm, they play a very important role, because all the meridians end in the foot and palm actually. So that's why you see here, out of 12, 6 end in limb and 6 end in hand actually. Now, how these are connected, that is what we are going to see. Okay, so I'm going to start my camera. So please pin my this thing. Okay, so you can pin my this thing so that you can see little bigger. Okay, can you see my? Okay, 1 second, hold on. Problem. Yeah. Okay, so let's uh, let's see how the channels are created. So there are 3 in channels are there, right? Just let's go back to the PPT for a minute. So totally there are 3 in channels. Okay, they start from chest to hand. So let's see how it starts. So this is chest, right? It starts somewhere here. We'll go through in detail one by one. But this starts from chest and then they come to the hand actually. Okay, it starts from here, come to the hand. So there are 3 channels are there. So once these 3 come here, then next what it does, there are another 3 set of channels that again come from hand, and then they come to the head actually, somewhere in the head portion. Then 3 come from head, they go till the foot actually. Okay. Then from foot they come back and then they end in the chest actually somewhere. So that one closes the one whole loop, right? This is clear, right? I'll just repeat again. So 3 channels start from here, they come here. Okay, it comes to the hand, and from there what happens, it again goes back to the head, again it goes to the foot, from foot it comes to the chest, right? So 3 3 3 4 12 channels, right? Any doubt you have? Okay, so we are going to see all these channels one by one, so just watch carefully, because it might be a little confusing in the beginning, but once you understand this logic it will be very easy. So let's go to the next slide. We will skip organs, this thing. So that these are the 12 channels. Okay, for a moment I'll just pause my video, so you can just go back to the presentation again. Okay, so totally there are 12 channels are there, right? So first channel is lung channel, right? So what did I tell? First it starts from chest, right? So lung channel starts from chest. Okay, it starts from chest and then it goes to the thumb, right? You can see thumb. So polarity is in. What is polarity in means? It means it is going. See, I told you, let me just again switch on my camera for a minute. Sorry, we have to toggle between these two. Okay, see, this is my hand, right? Now this is in. Okay, this is inside my hand, right? If I just keep my hand like this, I close. This is the inside, right? So this is in, and this is yang, right? Similarly, in our leg, inside part is in, outside part is yang, right? And I told you, right? Yin will be always white and soft, whereas yang will be dark, right? So this is yin and this is yang. So what is the first channel? The first channel is lung channel. It starts from chest. It starts from somewhere here. Exact location we can see later. It starts from here and then it goes this side, right? It goes this side. This is soft side, right? This is yin. It goes here. And then the next channel starts from there. So that's what we are seeing, right? Let me again go back to my presentation. Okay, please pin the presentation. Okay, so first channel is lung channel, right? Lung channel starts from upper part of chest and direction is chest to hand, right? So the direction is, just watch the direction. No? It starts from chest and then goes to the hand. Where does it end? It ends in the thumb actually, and polarity is in, right? Then large intestine. Next is you know the order, right? Lung, large intestine, right? So large intestine, where does it start? It starts from the nail of the forefinger, and then it starts from hand to head. You remember, no, the order: chest to hand, hand to head to foot, foot to chest, right? One whole circle completed, right? So large intestine starts from nail of forefinger. It goes from hand to head, and then it ends near the nostril, right? And this is yang in nature. So what is the difference between yin and yang? Just now I told you, right? Yin means it goes inside your hand actually, interior of hand, whereas large intestine is yang, which means it's supposed to, which means outside your hand, right? On the dark surface, right? Whereas lung starts from chest and ends in thumb. Large intestine starts from forefinger to the thumb, right? So don't think like they will start from the same place where it ended. So one channel will end in one place in the head, sorry, in the hand, whereas the other channel will start from other place, not from the same place, right? So large intestine starts from nail to forefinger, and it goes to what do you call it? It goes to the hand actually, right? Sorry, it goes to the head in the nostril, and it is yang. Now, lung channel has 11 points. Totally 11 points are there, right? And yang channel has 20 points. Okay. Next is stomach. The stomach starts from eye. So you remember this, right? Chest to hand, hand to head. It starts in head, right? From head again, it starts to foot, right? So stomach channel starts from below the eye, and then it goes all the way to the second toe of this thing, right? On our foot actually, right? And that is yang, which means that it goes through the normal part of the body, and there are 45 points of that. Then spleen. Spleen starts from big toe. Big toe, you know, right? That is our thumb, right? So it starts from big toe and then foot to chest, and then it goes to side of the chest. It is in actually. Okay. So let's see all the 4 points one more time. I will repeat. So please pin my video. Let's see all the 4 channels how it works. Okay, so let's start again. So first is lung, right? Lung starts from here. See, when I say it starts from here, it doesn't mean it starts from here. It starts from lung, right? It either starts from lung or pass through lung. But you won't be able to see. The very first point that is visible is here, somewhere here. So it is a in channel, right? In channel means inside, right? It goes inside, not outside, right? This is outside. Yang, this is in, this is inside. Which means it starts from here, it comes like this, and then it comes like this, right? And the yang channel is like this. Similarly, so 1, right? Then 2, then it comes to this thing, right? Head. And from there it goes to the foot. When it goes to the foot, this is yang, right? Next one is in. In means it comes on the side actually, right? So what you can do is, it's very difficult to show me all these things. So you can, I have given a link here. You can just click on the link. Once you click on the link, it will take you to the meridian. So let's see, one example here. Let me open this. I'll share my desktop. 1 second. Okay, you're able to see my desktop, right? Yeah, so this is the site actually. You can go through the site later. So here you can see here all the meridians are there. So there are 2 meridians called REN, DO, and extra. So these 3 meridians we are not seeing. So this is not required for us for the time being. So other than this, all other meridians we discussed about, right? There are 12 meridians are there. Let's take lung meridian as an example, right? So I just click on lung. It shows here. So totally lung meridian, how many points I told you? 11 points, right? So you can see here, at the below there is a graph which shows how the thing. So you can see here it starts from thumb. Sorry, it starts from heart actually. See, wherever it starts from, that will be numbered as 1. And where it ends will be the maximum number. For example, lung starts from chest, right? So it is called LU1. So you can see here, it starts from here and then goes a little bit up, and then it comes, inside. This is in, right? In means, on the white portion, right? It comes through the inside of our hand, right? Interior of our hand. It comes here, and then where does it end? It ends in the thumb, actually, in the nail. You can see here, right? There is a nail, no? There's a point here. The nail it ends. And if you see here, LU5, this is in the joint. You can see here, right? This is in the joint, and see all points, LU7, LU8, LU9, these are all in joints. So this is why I told you, C1, LU10 also is in joint. This is why I told you, all important points are in the joints, actually. So if you do frequent exercise, rotation of joints, then these points get stimulated. Okay, so this is how lung channel is there. Okay, now let's go to the large intestine. So where does lung channel ends? It ends in the thumb, actually, right? So naturally, the next channel should start from the same place, right? So it starts from the forefinger. You can see here, right? Next to the thumb, there is a forefinger. It starts from the nail. It goes here. You can see here, right? See, this is in the posterior. That is outside the hand, whereas the other one is inside the hand. Correct? So the first channel, lung channel, started from chest. It ended in the finger, whereas this channel started from finger. It goes to the head. Correct? And where does it go in the head? It comes to the nostril. Right? So just LI19 and LI20. Right? So you remember in the first class, second class, I think second or first class, we talked about two important points. One is LI11. This is the point LI11, and then LI4. So these are all the two important points. Right? See LI4 and LI11. So where is LI4? LI4 is the depression of two bones, whereas LI11 in the crease. Right? So these are all the. So you can understand, right? So one is in channel, so it passes inside the hand. Other is a yang channel, which means it passes outside the hand, actually, right? So first is hand to chest to hand. Second is hand to what you call head. Head means here it is actually nostril, right? Lung and large intestine. Okay. You have any doubt on this? Okay. So yeah, if you don't have doubt, let's continue. So next is stomach, right? So the order you remember, right? Lung, large intestine. Next is stomach, and then spleen, right? So stomach, see where did large intestine ended in the head, actually near the nostril, right? And it is a yang channel, right? So where will stomach channel start from? It will start from head only, because wherever it ended, it will start from there only, right? So stomach channel starts from head, and where will it go? It will go to the foot, right? You remember the order, right? Chest to hand, hand to head, head to foot, right? So stomach channel will start from where it will start from. Stomach channel will start from your head, actually, right? So basically, it starts from your eye. So if you see here, your eyeball is there, right? Below the eyeball, it starts. So that is ST1. So wherever it starts from, that is called ST1. That is called 1, right? So point number 1. So ST1. So it comes here, it just goes up, and then it again comes down, and then it goes all the way to the end of your body. I think they are not shown. It is there. So you can see here, it ends in the second. It ends in the second toe. So second this thing, right? It ends here. So it is, there are totally 45 points are there, and this is a yang channel, right? If it is a yin channel, how it will go? It will not go here. It may go in the side, actually. This is, since a yang channel, stomach is actually a yang channel, right? It will go on the front, actually, right? After stomach, what is the next one? Spleen. Correct. So let's take spleen as an example. So spleen. So where does stomach end? Stomach ends on your foot, actually, right? So naturally, one second. One minute. Yeah. So naturally, what will happen? Wherever your first channel ended, the second channel will start from there, right? So stomach channel, it ended in the nail of the second toe, right? So the spleen channel will again start from the toe only, right? So where does it start? It starts from your thumb, actually. It starts from the what do you call that? Big toe, right? Big toe. It starts from the big toe. It starts from there, and then it goes. But see, this is the in channel. This is not a yang channel, right? So it goes in the side, actually. You can see here, right? It doesn't go in the front. Whereas the other channel we saw that went in the front. Whereas this goes on the side. It goes in the side, and then, right? You can see here, it goes all the way up right? It goes to the chest actually, right? So one cycle is completed, right? So what is the cycle? First, it's originally lung channel started from somewhere here, and then it went to the hand actually, right? And it was a in channel, right? Which means that it actually went inside our hand, right? And then the next channel, that is the large intestine, started from hand, which is your what is that, nail of your forefinger, and then it went all the way to the head actually. So where did it end? It ended in the nostril, right? That is a yang channel. The next channel is stomach. Stomach started from eye, because the other channel ended in the this thing. It started from eye, and then it went to the nail. It went to the foot, right? Nail of the second toe. So the last one, that is spleen, started from toe, right? A big toe, and then it went to the chest. You can see here, right? So these four channels have just completed one cycle, right? And out of this four channel, let's go back to the table here. Let me stop the sharing and again come back to the sharing. 1 second. Okay. So here you see the lung channel is in, large intestine is yang. So there is one in, then two yang in, right? So that's how it is changing. Now I put some different colors so that you can see here. So yin, yang, yang, yin, yang, yang, yin. So it just goes like this, right? So two channels will be of the same nature, and then the next two channels of the same nature, right? So lung starts from upper part of chest, so it is chest to hand. See, same thing, no? See here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I written here, right? So chest to hand, hand to head to foot, foot to chest. Similarly, here also you see chest to hand to head, head to foot, foot to chest. Same thing here, right? See all three. No, see there are totally 12 channels are there, right? So you put into three buckets, right? Four channels each, and all four channels in the same pattern. It starts from chest to hand to head to foot, foot to chest, right? And wherever the first channel started, sorry, wherever the first channel ended, the second channel starting from there. For example, lung ended in the hand, whereas the large intestine starting from hand, right? Large intestine ended in the head, stomach again started from head, right? You can see, the stomach ended in the foot, spleen started in the foot, and then end in the chest. So one cycle is complete. Correct. Same thing happens for heart also. Correct. Same thing happens for heart. Heart channel will start from this thing, right? Now you can see here in the previous slide what we discussed. We said like there are three in channels from chest to hand, right? What are those three channels that start from chest to hand? Can somebody tell me? It's there here itself. No, you can see here. No, lung is from chest to hand, heart is from chest to hand, pericardium is chest to hand. So all these three channels, no, these three are in channels, right? They three are starting from chest to hand. You can see here, right? So actually, no, slowly. See, it's very important. You just remember this. Then tomorrow, no, when we go through all the points, it will be easy for you to remember this entire thing. So you see all three channels, lung, heart, and pericardium, all starts from chest and then they end in the hand, right? And all three are in, correct? Then what did we study? Three channels, hand to head, right? So there are three channels which are hand to head and they are yang in nature, right? So those are all these three things. That is, you can see here large intestine and then small intestine and then Sanjio. All three are hand to head. They go from hand to head. You can see the same pattern here, right? So all there are totally, there are three things here, right? Chest to hand there are three, hand to head there are three, head to foot there are three, foot to chest there are three, right? So totally there are 12 channels out there. So each of the 12 channels. See, this is why I told you that we should remember in the same order, right? And not all channels have the same number of points. For example, lung will have only 11 points, whereas heart has 9 points, pericardium has 9 points. So there are totally, I think there are 365 points are there, as per acupuncture. So it's impossible for us to remember all 365 points. So what we will remember is we'll remember only few points, that we'll see starting from each and every channel. Okay. So one more thing, let's understand what is yin and yang again one more time, right? Lung channel is in, which means that it is going in the side, right? Sorry, it goes in the inside of our hand actually, right? On the white portion of our hand. Whereas large intestine is also in the hand, but it is actually what it is. It is yang channel, right? Which means that it is going in the outside, right? Stomach, where the stomach starts from? It starts from head and then it goes to the foot, right? In the overall body, right? It goes throughout the body, and it goes in the front of the body, which is yang. Whereas spleen also goes from foot to chest, right? That foot to chest, it is yin, which means that it is not going. Let me just switch on my camera again. Okay, I'll just switch on my camera 1 second. Yeah, please pin my video. I'll again repeat here, right? In channel means it will go inside, right? This is the white portion, it will go inside, right? This is in channel. Yang channel is this one, right? So lung channel started from here, it came here, and then large intestine channel started, and then it comes to the head, right? So hand, chest to hand, hand to chest. Next is it goes down, right? It goes all the way down. So when it goes down, yang channel goes like this. Whereas in channel, when it comes back, it will come in the side actually. Correct? Same thing for heart, also the same thing, right? You see, heart, where does it start? It starts from upper part of chest and then goes to the nail of the little finger. So it goes in the see, heart is a in channel, which means that it goes inside. Same thing, very, very simple. Huh? So you can just, if you remember this table, then starting from next view, you can start seeing one by one each channel. Okay. So just to go through all these 12 channels, what I written here, I just 4 I gave as an example, but all 12 channels go in the same pattern. So don't worry, how these channels are going, where it is going. That slowly we'll see one by one. Today, I want you to at least understand how to group these channels so that you can understand in a better way, right? So remember this one: chest to hand, hand to head, head to foot, and foot to chest, right? So any questions you have? Okay, anybody has any question? Now, is it difficult for you to understand, or
It will take a little time, Ramesh, but yes, I think we have to go through the document and this website.
yeah. So see, just make sure that you go through the PPT what I uploaded. I already
Yeah.
uploaded this PPT because books and all they will give, but it's very difficult to memorize. That's why I told you this logic of head to hand, all this.
Yes.
Okay. So with this, we'll stop today on this one, right? I think one thing that we didn't cover is that let me just go to organ clock theory, right? I'll just pause my audio. Sorry, I paused my video. So let me present again the PPT. Okay, so the most important thing that we saw in the last week was organ clock theory, right? What is organ clock theory? We discussed, right? So there are 24 hours in a day, right? In this 24-hour, each organ, there are 12 organs are there, right? So each organ gets equal amount of time to get its energy, right? So since there are 12 organs, each organ will get exactly 2 hours. So that is what this. Okay, I'll just put in presentation mode. Okay, so you can see here there are totally how many organs are 12 organs, right? So each of these organs are getting 2 hours. We discussed this how, right? So one is from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. That is in the midnight, right? When we sleep, gallbladder starts. Right? What is the function of gallbladder? We already discussed, right? The gallbladder functionality is to store the bile, and also it helps to repair our cells and all, right? So when we are sleeping in the night, 11 to 1 o'clock, this gallbladder works, which means that though all one second, hold on. So though all organs are getting energy 24/7, but these specific organs that we have written here in the clock, right, they get maximum energy at that point of time, which means that whenever when it is 11 to 1 o'clock in the midnight, right, gallbladder gets the maximum energy of all the organs. Okay. And one more thing I think I forgot to tell last time was that see in this clock, there is one thing on the opposite side, right? What is opposite to gallbladder is heart channel, right? Now heart channel gets the least energy during that time. That is also something which I think I forgot to mention last time. So 11 to 1, what happens? Your 11 to 1, your gallbladder gets the maximum energy, whereas your heart gets the least energy, right? So this is also very important. See, if you are awake from 11 to 1, what damage you are creating, that we discussed, right? When you are awake from 11 to 1, your cells are not getting repaired, your blood is not getting purified, many things are not happening, right? in the night when you're awake. So at the same time, what happens? Your heart is actually not getting enough energy when you're awake in the night. Your heart also gets overworked. So similarly, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, liver gets the maximum energy. Right. This is the time when we go into deep sleep. So this is the time when the liver gets the maximum energy. So what does the liver do? It detox our blood. So whoever is not sleeping between 1 to 3 o'clock, their liver may not be able to purify the blood enough, right? So that is the point, right? So it tries to recover our body. Then between 3 to 5, what happens? Our lung gets the maximum energy. That's why we have to get up 4 or 4:30 in the morning, so that lung gets the maximum energy, right? Between that time. So lung gets the maximum energy, and then between 5 to 7, large intestine gets the maximum energy. So large intestine, what's the function of large intestine? It is actually to send the motion out actually. Okay, so stool passing, right? So if you are not awake during that time, what happens is during that time large intestine won't be able to work with the maximum thing. So you won't be able to pass stools. And if this happens on a continuous basis, then what happens? You get constipation, right? So that's why people who get up at 5, they don't have constipation, but people who get up after 7 o'clock, they have chronic constipation. So between 7 to 9 is where the stomach gets the maximum energy. So during this time, stomach gets the maximum energy, which means you should take your breakfast, right? Between 7 to 9. No, always try to take at 7 to 8, not push to 8 to 9, because you won't have enough energy left to digest. Stomach may not get enough energy, so it's always better to. So if people who are eating between 7 to 8, they have very good digestion, whereas people who are eating after 9 or 10, they have very less digestion. And digestion also comes down as the sun sets. The digestion comes down. When the sun is at the peak, the digestion happens very powerful. Once the sun sets, digestion doesn't happen. This is another reason why we should not eat after 6 o'clock. Then between 9 to 11, what happens? Our spleen, it gets start working. So what is the role of spleen? It actually tries to pass the energy to the entire body. So just like how blood is passing what you call the glucose to the entire body through stomach, spleen is passing our energy. What is that energy? It is called vital energy, prana or ki, right? It passes. So spleen, spleen works during that time, and the spleen is related to immunity and many other aspects. And between 11 to 1, your heart works, and then 1 to 2 o'clock, right? 1 to 3 o'clock, our small intestine works. What is the property of small intestine? It actually helps in ingestion of food, absorption of food, which means that once you eat the food, once it is digested, all the nutrients are absorbed by the body through small intestine. Then 3 to 5, your urinary bladder works. So what does the urinary bladder do? It tries to take out all the waste materials through urine, and then the kidney also stores all the nutrients, and then it actually helps to dispose of the waste, right? Between 5 to 7. So after 7, what does the body do? Between 7 to 11, the body is trying to produce enough heat so that your body prepares for that day night actually. So 7 to 9, your pericardium starts working, and between 9 to 11, your what do you call your not triple warmer, that is 3 cavities in the body, they start heating, right? So you can see here in the night, between 11 to 3, it is wood means like you should be these are all 5 elements. We'll go through that more in detail, but wood helps you to build the body, right? And then metal helps you to send out all the thing, and the earth is helping you to absorb everything, and then the fire is helping you to start the digestion. Water is helping you to eliminate all the waste materials. Again in the night, again fire helps you to maintain the body temperature. This is organ clock theory, right? And I think one more thing we didn't discuss here in the yin and yang. We discussed what is yin and yang. So there are 2 properties, right? Yin and yang, and they have to be in balance. So this is also another important thing. So actually, if you see healing, or if you see acupuncture or acupressure, totally there are 3 philosophies are there. The first philosophy is 5-element philosophy, which is like we discussed each of the elements, if they are in imbalance, it creates a health issue. The second philosophy is yin and yang, which means that everyone has this yin and yang. It should be in the same proportion, and yin and yang is also not same. Like we discussed, in the night yang will be more, whereas in the morning yin will be more, right? So this yin and yang has to be in the same proportion. So when this yin becomes more, then the person becomes sick and then he falls to death actually. Whereas yang becomes more, the person falls to sick, but he doesn't die, but he gets many problems, right? So that is the idea behind this yin and yang. The another one is ki. Ki is prana, right? If the prana doesn't move, then what happens? We get sick. So this is how the energy healing techniques as well as acupressure or acupuncture also works. They stimulate those points so that the energy flow happens properly, right? Okay, so we'll just discuss one last thing. I'm just turning on my video again. Okay. So one last thing is that I just reiterating this whole thing, that every day in the morning when you get up, now you know about acupuncture points and all these things. Every day in the morning when you get up, you have to just make sure you rotate all your joints actually, right? If you do this on a continuous basis from daily, in the morning once and evening once, energy flow will happen, and your body, all the organs will equally get strengthened, right? So for example, you can move like this, you can move like this, you can move like this. Try to move, right? All the joints, like this joint, and then your neck joint, right? And then your hip joint, and then similarly ankle, everything you have to rotate. So this is one important thing. The second one that we discussed is that all the this thing, right? You can even massage also your joints actually. All the joints you can massage. So that way, what will happen? All these points will get massaged, right? And another important thing we discussed that all the channels they pass through here, right? Through the palm. Similarly, they go through your soul also, right? So for example, there are some points are there. From next week we'll start seeing all those points one by one, but there are some points which are very crucial. So what you have to do every day when whenever you have time, you can take a blunt pen. Don't take a pen which is very sharp. Take a blunt pen and then try to move around here, especially in this area, right? When you feel a pain, which means that see, this entire palm is connected to our entire organs, starting from head to toe actually. So wherever you see a pain, for example, if I see a pain here, it means something. It means something. So you don't remember all these things. So that's fine. Don't worry. What you do, you take a blunt pen in the morning, try to do like this, and then when you have a pain, try to massage those places. Okay, and this is called Sujok acupressure or Sujok acupuncture, right? Sujok on this thing. Similarly, there is something called reflexology. What is reflexology? Reflexology, just like this is Sujok, reflexology is in your soul actually, in the feet. The soul also, all the points are getting connected. So what you have to do is in the soul, you have to do the same thing, right? You can apply oil in the soul, wash your soul, apply oil, and then use some blunt object. If you are interested, you can buy these. Things are available on Amazon also. There are some materials available. You can buy that. I'll post it later. So you can do that. So when you do, what happens? The blood circulation improves, and all these points get stimulated. All your organs will get strengthened, right? So one, this is Sujok, and then the reflexology, which is your soul, and then the third one is your ears actually. So what you can do, you can squeeze your ears, you can clean your ears, all these things. Okay, so that is called auricular therapy. So in the first class, I told you that acupressure is not very powerful. So you can use these techniques like reflexology and Sujok and also the auricular therapy, and you can also use certain other techniques I'll teach later. So using these techniques plus acupressure, if you do on a daily basis, you will always be very fit. You will not fall sick. Okay. I think with this we'll stop today's session. So please go through all the material. At least by next week, you have to just make sure that you memorize, how these channels are going from where to where. What is the name of that organ? What is the order in which you have to remember those 12 organs? What is the symbol of that organ? Right? All these things you have to remember. Then we will start seeing all the points one by one. Okay. With this, I'll stop here. If you have any questions, we can discuss. And by the way, this material is there in the bottom also. Yes, sir. Yes,
No, I don't have a question. So
okay.
Thank you. We'll go through the material. So.
Okay, sure. Yeah, from next week, we'll have to go very fast because we have to complete this in another 3-4 weeks so that we can get more time to see about points. So please go through this material definitely by next week.
Okay.
Yeah, and also take help of these apps that I gave you and this, the site that I gave you. It will be very helpful. You can easily understand. Again, I'm telling you, please don't try to remember all the points. That is not required. just understand how the channels are going. That is more sufficient. That is more than sufficient.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. If
Thank
no
you.
other question, we can stop. Okay. Thank you.